Did you know that journey maps are a terrific way to help students develop their skills with critical thinking? Journey maps are a visual diagram of a process or an experience that happens over time. They help students gather information from a wide range of sources, document it, then synthesize and analyze it as they explore complex topics or questions. By tracking the steps of a person or an entity across that journey and mapping those steps, you can see how each relates to the next and drives towards that final stopping point. And you're able to build in additional sources of information or consideration so that you can create a more holistic or nuanced picture of the topic you're trying to address. Whether you're working with students to help them learn and process new information or gain an understanding of how well they have developed an understanding of what you have taught, you can use journey maps to drive discussion, build shared understanding, and create a visual diagram that students can carry forward in their learning. The steps to create a journey map are actually really simple. Once you've chosen the event or experience and the person or the entity, you're simply going to draw a line onto a large piece of paper, a whiteboard, or a digital space. Then you're going to map the journey over time step by step. Step 1, then step 2, and step 3, and so on. You want to look at the sequence of those steps and how they fit together towards that destination or that final stopping point. Once you've laid out those steps, then you can go back and add in additional information you want your students to pay attention to. Maybe you want to look at historical influences on the journey, or maybe you want to think about how a person felt along the way. You might even want to think about what other factors could create an impact or cause a change in the experience over time, or affect the process. Whatever you want to pay attention to are the layers that you can add in after the fact. The end goal is for you to be able to see a holistic picture of that complex situation so that students can talk about it, pay attention to it, think about it from a holistic or different perspective. So let's do one together. I'm going to pick an example I might use with middle school students. We're going to ask our students to think about how they might redesign the school cafeteria experience to improve it. In that situation, I'm going to pick Jeff, a middle school boy, to be my primary person moving through the journey. And the first thing I'm going to do is say, what are the steps that Jeff takes along the way? He's going to enter the cafeteria. He's going to get into the line. He's going to pick up his flatware and his tray and decide what he wants to eat. He's going to move through the line and get those food items from the cafeteria workers, move through the pay station, find a seat, enjoy lunch, hopefully, and then move on to get rid of his trash and go back to class. So I've mapped the journey. Now I want to pay attention to things that he might experience along the way that can help me design that lunchroom experience to improve it. First thing I'm going to do is think about who does he interact with. As he enters the cafeteria, he meets the greeter. He gets to the lunch line, he might run into some friends along the way. Let's assume that he does. He talks to the cafeteria workers where he gets his food, connects with the person at the pay station, sits with his friends again, says hello to the janitorial staff on the way out, and returns to class. All that still seems pretty neutral, but we want to improve this experience. So now we're going to pay attention to what hiccups might Jeff run into. Well, maybe the line is really long, and so he's in there a long time. He's really anxious to get to his food so he can get back to class on time. He knows that if he's in the line too long, he won't have very much time to eat. When he gets up to the food sources, maybe there's nothing he likes. Or maybe it's a great day and he's super happy because it's pizza. Either way, he receives that. He has to balance a book bag that he's carrying. He's got to figure out how he's going to pull the money out of his pocket and manage his tray as he moves through the cashier's station. Once he gets to his table, let's assume that that line was really long and he didn't have very much time to eat. So he's sort of cramming in food, but that leaves him with food on his tray. He's got to figure out what to do with that food. Does he throw it out? Maybe he keeps it. Is he allowed to leave the lunchroom with it? And then lastly, he rushes back to class. All of those pieces of information can help us identify Jeff's experience. How did he do on the way to his goal of getting lunch and eating it and enjoying it and getting back to class? And then what were some opportunities along the way that he might choose to address or we might choose to address on his behalf in order to get to a better experience? As a teacher, I think there are 4 really good ways that we can use journey maps to help students develop skills in critical thinking. First, we might have them use it to learn and process new information, gathering all that information into one place so they can think about it singularly and together. Second, we can use journey maps to actually assess whether or not they've learned information we wanted them to learn. Maybe it's a way for them to recall from memory and then layer in critical considerations or complex thoughts about that information. Either way, we get an insight into what they're thinking about and how they're thinking about it. Third, we might ask students to use a journey map to reflect on their experience, either as an individual, how they got ready for a big project or a presentation, or how they worked within a team. Did it go well? Did it not go well? Lastly, I think we can help students use journey maps to plan forward. How might they engage in a complex project? Or how might they work together with their team members to ensure success? In all of those instances, journey maps really help our students ground their thinking visually so they can process it and they can share it with others, including us as educators. If you'd like to learn more, join us at learn.hfli.org.